Hello and welcome to another What's New in Microsoft 365 and Teams, dated 17th to the 24th of April 2021. I'm going to start off with an apology. It's spring in the UK. We've had a nice few days and there's lots of pollen around and it's getting the better of me. So I'm a bit squinty and I don't sound great. I know that. So apologies, folks. But it's spring and, you know, a bit of hay fever. It's no price to pay, right? So what we've got today, we have got some revised timelines. Then you can see there we're going to go through a handful of updates. We've got some bite-sized updates, some ones to watch. Got an interesting blog review. So there's someone in the Microsoft 365 and Teams community who blogs a lot. And we're going to have a quick look at his blog because he's got some Microsoft kit in there that I'm quite interested in. So we're going to have a look at that. And then we'll just confirm how you can keep up with Microsoft 365 using some of the things that I offer. Okay, so let's start with some revised timelines. So I've been talking about this for a little while. This text formatting that you can have in forms, a little bit delayed. Now looking at late April to late May, introducing macOS native notifications in Teams. So this was where instead of having Teams pop up with its notifications, then Mac would use the built-in system. However, a few days ago, I saw that Microsoft had put this on hold. They've had some feedback from the community, and they're going to have a look at it and then come back to us with what they decide to do with it. Of course, as soon as there's an update, I will let you know. And we've got a Teams update, preventing attendees from sharing video feed in Microsoft Teams. This is a bit delayed again, early to mid-May now. Increasing the amount of interactive participants inside a Teams meeting from 300 to 1,000. That's just been pushed back a few weeks to the middle of May as well. This dynamic view, which I think is lovely. So think about you going to Teams meetings all day, and it's just going to reduce the fatigue a little bit. So mentally you're going to be seeing something different, and actually you can see how nicely it scales depending on what's being shown on the screen. Look out for that mid to late May. Multiple spotlights, again, this is a great way of just changing up the way they look. Let's say myself and a couple of colleagues, we're doing an Ask Me Anything on Teams, for example. We might want to keep our 3 video feeds as the spotlights, and then everyone else's can rotate in that area on the right hand side that you can see. So I think that's really nice. Looking forward to that. Look out for that early to mid-May. Okay, so we're going to have a look at our first proper update now, and this is the ability to set an out of office within Teams. So you can create an out of office from inside Teams. Now what's great is that this message will then sync with everywhere else where an out of office matters. So the Outlook calendar, your presence, and your contact card information. Now you set this by going to your profile image in the top right hand corner, and then there's an option there to set your status message, and you can see there, so you can have that, you'd have that new option at the bottom where you can schedule your out of office, or you just go into the regular settings and you can see there's the option there to set your out of office, and then you got all the options there that you would expect that come along with an out of office option. Rollout will be early May, and it's expected to be done by the end of May. So what are we now? End of April. So over the next 5 to 6 weeks, you should see that. Okay, so Mac users reducing that background noise. So I'm going to read this out in detail, because if you've missed this as a Windows user, then this is a useful recap, because you've had this in Windows for a little while. But let's just go through this. So you can set the noise suppression level before or during a meeting. There's 4 levels. There's that auto. I think this is probably the default. And it is the default, yes, and it will just it'll just fine tune it as it sees fit as you go along. Low is designed for persistent noise, like I don't know, just that consistent low noises in the background. High, that's high suppression. Now this uses local processing. Now, interestingly, and so the local processing that they both do, but this uses more resources. And interestingly, it doesn't work with the Apple M1 chip, that new super chip that I hear people talking about. I don't know much about it, if I'm honest. The Apple world is a mysterious place to me. But yeah, it doesn't work with the M1 chip. Off disables noise suppression altogether. So you might wonder why you ever need that noise suppression. So myself and my daughter, we have a violin lesson once a week, and we actually use Zoom for that. Sorry to say the Z word on this type of session. But the teacher always gets us to turn off the noise suppression and use like just pure sound, so that she can hear exactly what note we're playing. So there is a place for that noise suppression, and if it's affecting your sound quality, it might be worth you turning that off. Rolling out late April to late August. It's got quite a long tail, that, hasn't it? So like April, May, June, July, August. I'm not sure why that's got such a long rollout, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so this is a really nice one. SharePoint and Teams. The folder inside visibility connected to a channel. So I could probably phrase that title better, but let's talk about what it is. It makes it easy to tell which folders inside your SharePoint library have a Teams channel. So look at this here. So you can see here that it says this folder. Oops. You see here it says this folder is connected to a Teams channel. Let's have a closer look at that actually. So it just makes it easier to identify. You can see here that the folder is connected to a channel on Microsoft Teams. But this button on the right hand side means you can go from that SharePoint folder that folder in SharePoint straight over to the channel that corresponds to that. You cannot rename or delete any folder in your SharePoint library that is the back end to the Files tab inside a channel. So you have channel, you have your channel, you have tabs across the top. Files is one of them. Behind that file really is your SharePoint site. It's not really in Teams, it's in the SharePoint site here. And this is great because it just means that these folders, and there's one folder for each of the channel file tabs that are up there, and it just means that you can't accidentally delete this area at the back if it relates to one of these file tabs here. Rolling out late May to late June. Check this out. I saw this today. So I saw this tweet from Jimmy Hang, and he's saying an issue has been fixed where you rename a channel in Teams, a channel in a Teams team, the corresponding SharePoint folder behind the scenes, the one like the situation I've just been describing, that name will get updated as well. So previously to that, and quite up until super recently, you could have a channel called XYZ, and you change it to ABC, but the folder behind the scenes doesn't get updated. So that's a super welcome. I saw that tweeted earlier, and the amount of retweets and love that tweet was getting was impressive. You can see that's quite a big deal. That little tiny fix you got there. Okay, so short one this week. Let's look at some bite-sized updates. So Microsoft Teams organisers are going to be able to lock a meeting. It just means the meeting is locked. If you get frustrated with people rocking up late to your meetings, this is great because you can lock your meeting. All those latecomers can't come in. I like that. SharePoint audience targeting using the events web part. So due mid-May to mid-June. Excuse me. Mid-May to mid-June. And you notice that last week I told you about the ability for the events web part to show images for its events. So you can see that web part's getting a little bit of love recently. What else we got here? OneDrive on macOS exclude specific files from OneDrive sync. So this is one for the admin. So maybe there's some types of files that they don't want being synced. If you hop over to the blog, look in the notes for the details of the blog. Hop over to the blog and you'll see more details about that. I've got quite a few details there for you to read. So for Office, the Office app for desktop improvements, these are due early to late June. And I've got to be honest, I've totally forgotten what that is. Let's have a quick look at my blog. So This new version of the Office app for desktop will bring improved performance, reliability, and includes the ability to open multiple instances of the app at the same time. Marvellous. And next up we've got OneDrive. Outline for PDF viewing. This is iOS and Android. It just means that if you look at a PDF and you have a table of contents, from the table of contents you can you can go straight to you can use it as a way of navigating. From the contents you can jump straight to the content. Okay, some ones to watch. Microsoft Search will now look at regular attachments inside Outlook, which is quite nice. Coming in June. Exchange and Outlook for Business. Now, when you need to go to, let's say you get your meetings, if you have to go to different locations, the different locations for different places for your meetings, Outlook will now let you log or book travel time and your method of transportation between those locations that you need to go to. Look out for that in April. That's be interesting to see where they go with that. That is no way that is just a standalone feature. That's got to be part of something else, hasn't it? When you read between the lines. Okay, folks, let's have a look at this. So, this guy Tom Arbuthnot, he's quite well known in Teams and unified communication and 365 world. He's got a blog we're gonna have a quick look at, but he also tweets, and he's a regular speaker, and he seems surfacing in the community quite a lot. So his blog is at tomtalks.blog, and the one page we're going to look at is this one that I'm pulling across now. Okay, so let's just go back. Let's just show you his main page. You can see that he's got quite a few interesting stories. That's the fella there. Okay, so he's got some quite interesting articles there, but let's focus on this one, which I'm really interested in. So Microsoft are launching some first party, so it means that it's theirs, certified Surface headsets, speakerphone and webcam. Let's have a look at this first of all. Okay, so it looks like a nice, simple, regular webcam. Nicely priced. You can see there it's going to be $69 US dollars. It'll probably end up being that same amount in pounds. Looks like a nice regular camera. I've heard someone on a couple of people on podcasts thinking it was interesting that it doesn't have Windows Hello, so it doesn't have the capability to recognise you, which I think is a bit. I don't know, is it surprising? But at that price point, maybe it's to be expected. Next up, we have this speakerphone. I really like the look of this. I'm on and off calls all day long or training. Sometimes it might just be nice to not have to pop my headset on and be able to use a speakerphone. I have like a little home office and I can close the door, so I'd be able to use this. So I can't be honest, I might have a look at that when it comes out, and if I do, then I'll do a full review of it. Let's go a little bit further. Now, I do like the look of these Surface Headphones 2 Plus for business. Now, I've got a set of Surface headphones right there. Really like them. This for business part, where it has a dongle and you can just use them as regular headsets. I do like a cable, if I'm honest, for work. I don't like to use Bluetooth. I don't need to be wandering around the kitchen or doing anything else. If I'm working, I tend to be at my desk, so I'm happy with a cable. So I quite like the idea of looking at those as well. Bit of a naughty price tag at $299. We'll see what that is in pounds. But I gotta say, folks, they're lovely headphones. They're certainly the first version. They're super comfortable. They sound nice. The ability to turn up or turn down the ambient noise, to turn up the volume. So it'll be interesting to see what people think of those. Going down the price a little bit. Oh, interestingly though, folks, these are Surface. These are Surface. These are branded as Surface headphones, and the more kind of business type products are branded Microsoft Microsoft Modern. That's the branding that they have. So this blog is mainly about the Microsoft Modern range, but Tom has just dropped in the Surface headphones too for business as well. So a nice simple wireless headset. It's got quite a nice price point, just under $100, and it's certified for Teams, and it'd be interesting to see what that's like. I quite like the look of these wired ones. Like I say, I do prefer a cable when I'm working, and that dongle there, I just like that. I just like a physical dongle. If you've seen my review of my Jabra headset, you know that I'm a big fan of a physical dongle that you can just have your spare hand just clicking the mute on and off. So what else we got here? Actually, that is it. Now, if you want to check out Tom's blog, or you want some more details about these products, I'll put a link to that blog in the notes. Whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on the podcast, I'll make sure that I include that. Okay, so what's I going to say about that? I've been reading his blog for a long time. I recommend you have a look at it. Covers slightly different things, or very different things to me. No, not very different things, just different things to me. He gets into much more detail on some of the unified communication type topics, and I recommend you check it out. Okay, so that brings to an end a slightly clunky update, folks. I apologise for the coughing and the spluttering and being a little bit less focused than I would normally be, but we got through it. I appreciate your patience, folks. Keep up to date with the updates that I put out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, on your podcast, and on the internet. Just do a search for Super Simple 365, and you'll find it. However you prefer to get your updates, then check it out. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop torturing you now. Stop making you listen to me. We're done. See you next week. I'll no doubt be a bit perkier. But thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.